Your Miami Hurricanes went into the right armpit of Florida last night, and they covered, baby. 50-15 domination. What is it, Ro?
It's the Recap Show. It's the Recap Show. 50-15, boys.
How you guys doing?
Doing good. Thanks for asking, Deshaun. I really like your pleasantries in the morning. You're great. Hey, Barstool, USF Barstool, how we feeling this morning? Somebody put it on the OBB account, but now that the Bulls, they were with Bama first, then us. She needs to tell secrets. She needs to know whose was bigger. I have a guess though, because
gotcha.
She's walking a little funny this morning.
Listen,
damn.
Where do you want to start with this, boys? I mean, this was like so. Every game, there's going to be moments. You had a first half that was a struggle. You had some unforced errors. Things were not going our way, yet you went into the half up 7. And then you came out in the second half and you just dominated that ass. This is just more proof for me, guys, that this is all different this year. This is just different than we haven't seen this in decades.
This is the third consecutive 50-plus point game that the University of Miami has had. That's a first in program history. We've had it where we've had 50-plus point games, 99, 2000, 2001. Bookmark that era where I just said that stat came from. But 3 in a row, never been done. Couple never been dones for the University of Miami. A big, long run. I'm sure we're going to talk about it. And these 50-plus. Cool to see. How are you feeling, Scoop? You conflicted? What's up?
Why would I be conflicted?
I don't know. You picked us to lose.
I didn't pick us to lose.
I'm pretty sure there's audio of it. There's audio of it.
Well, when it came down to it, I predicted 48-20. So I know what I'm talking about. I think so anyway. I will say this, just for everyone, enjoy this. Just bleeping enjoy this as much as possible. We've got 1 year of Cam Ward, unfortunately. And it's special. It's looking to be, so far anyway, it's been a lot of fun. I had 3 keys to the game, and looking back at it, all of them super important. And the biggest one was, as you said, Toast, we had a rough first half, which not surprising in any way, shape, or form. This team will wear you out with that offense and that pace and that tempo. Bend, don't break. What I say, we needed a Mark D'Onofrio defense like we haven't seen since Mark D'Onofrio. And you got exactly that. They got a touchdown on a short field, brutal pick. Cam should have had 450 minimum and 4 touchdowns. He gave me a short field. They scored on a trick play. Aside from that, 3 field goals. But they had a lot of yards in between the 20s. And you had to play that. But you kept them out of the end zone. The most important thing, like I said, trade touchdowns for field goals. Because that's what they'll do to you. And you have to be able to weather the storm. And then the OBB account said very, very well, this is what happened in the first half. The second half won't be close. Second half is 28-0. Shut them out. It was obvious. So such a great win and such a great testament to how these guys are put together, their mindset, the culture, right? But it's not coach speak. It's real. These guys believe that. Mario challenged them at halftime to pitch a shutout. And they came out and they throttled them in the second half. Not even close. So enjoy this, because I don't know when we're going to get to see another Cam Ward like this. This kid is, bro, so stupid fun.
The lateral that where his knee was down was such a ridiculously high IQ play to even realize that it was there for you.
and he was looking
Just-
for it.
Yes, I know.
I
and
was
just
like,
every-
oh my God. Yeah.
bro, it's like even when there's a rush on like a screen and it's crashing in, there's just a calmness about him, bro. I'm just gonna flick it over your head. It's insane, bro. You're right. Who knows if we'll ever see this again? Who knows?
4 games, it usually takes me to make a wholesale, just broad brush sweeping statement, right? After 1 year, I remember vividly saying it was vanilla, right? We had an offensive coordinator that was vanilla. We had one that was fraudulent. We had one offensive coordinator after 4 games like, this offense is fun. Boys, the word driving in this morning, and I thought about the broad brush statement. It's achieved its hive mind collective. It's a hive mind, okay? I see such a special relationship between their quarterback, Cam Ward, and everybody on that field. And when you look over, there's freedom. The biggest freedom in an offense I have seen since we've been doing this, since I've been doing Student of the Game. Like he just looks out there, gets a little gang sign from, one of his wide receivers, right? Little, touch the helmet. Those are all tap audibles, by the way. They're adjusting on the fly. He acknowledges them. They run the play to perfection. It's as like Edelman. Yeah, of course. Xavier Restrepo, he's going to get that, similarity. He's got that commonality, right? He's a Julian Edelman guy. He's on the same wavelength with his Black Brady. Like that is Tom Brady back there. The way that they are out there reading the field, surveying everything, it has reached a hive mind. This offense, after 4 games, it's a hive mind. It's a collective. It's really hard to stop. It's really, really hard to stop because every time and listen, Orlando, that's their DC. He's got chops. He's a good dude. You got to remember what he did with Herman out there at Houston. Shut down a Florida State team when Florida State had Jimbo and they were all world. Shut them down. Had some really signature wins. That guy knows what he's doing. He couldn't stop us. 50+ points. Couldn't stop us.
He tried.
My collective.
Look, like you've said, you've got to pick your poison here.
Mm-hmm.
And it's because of that. So they stacked the box, man. They said, look, Cam Ward's got to beat us through the year. It was the testament. That's what they said. Their back end, their secondary is the best part of their team. It's their strength. And you have to play to your strengths no matter what. The problem is you're asking these dudes to stop Cam Ward through the air. That's the problem. But you have to pick one or the other. And they picked one, they rode with it, and it didn't work. But I think that's going to be what's going to happen for most of these games. They're going to have to pick one or the other.
He left some plays on the field and 100%. Still had 24, 34 for 404 and 3 touchdowns.
Yeah.
And literally, he had a 4th touchdown here and there. I mean, it was so close. I thought he was in the end zone.
Isaiah Horton, that was a touchdown, bro.
Oh my God, that was they gave him a half-yard line. Like, what are we looking at?
When his ass hit the ground, the ball had already crossed the plane. Whatever, bro.
So
but
bad.
Isaiah was pissed off too. He's you stole another one. He was pointing at the ref. You stole that from me. You took and that brought up another point. I mean, I think it was Louis Riddick made. He said that's the competitive nature of this wide receiver room. I mean, bro, we got 3 guys up for the Biletnikoff Award. Like you owe it to all 3 of them to give them opportunities. Like you have to give each of them 4 or 5 opportunities a game. You owe it to them, or you're not going to get more wide receivers coming in. So you can't run the ball 40 times and you got 3 guys that are up for the Biletnikoff Award. And those little passes to the flats and stuff, and to Dame, he had 2 catches for 50. That's a run play, man. You got to view that as a run play. So people that were pissing off, we can't run the ball. Dude, I'm going to go ahead and just assume that we can run the ball until we have to. Until they show me that they can't when they need to, I'm going to assume that with this offensive line and with these backs and this quarterback, we can run the ball if we need to. So until they show me they can't, I'm not buying into that nonsense.
Yeah, you can't. It's a bunch of hooey. I mean, look, I saw plenty of runs. I saw Cam Ward twice tell the defensive line exactly what gap they were going into. You saw that, right?
Yeah.
Jimmy Martinez on the goal. We're going right here. That's exactly what he said. We're going right here.
And they went right there.
They went right there.
You mentioned the Biletnikoff guy.
Without a problem.
The Biletnikoff boys. Hey, that would be a good podcast.
Right?
but it was Isaiah Horton. Isaiah
Yes.
Horton who led the team
Big
with
game,
8
dude.
for 108.
Mhm.
Like, so that just goes to show you again, Cam Ward does it. That's why I say it's hive mind. It's not just one guy. Xavier's Xavier. He's special. We know that. We know that. He's just uncoverable. That guy is going to get open in a phone booth with 6 other dudes in there. Like that's just his gift. But you turn around and you have that many pass catchers, tight ends got involved again, running backs got involved again. All the wide receivers got some love. I know George was like doing his best Stacey Coley impersonation, just dinged up one of those games. It was like catch and limp. But you have the next guy coming up, which is Isaiah Horton. Isaiah Horton, here's a big one. My goodness. Like, because that was an impressive game, again, from somebody you didn't necessarily think, but ultimately anybody on this offense, pick your poison, and then you got to go ahead and look in the field. And that's what I'm saying. It is, I can't say it enough. It's a hive mind right now. It is working on all cylinders. After 4 games, that's when you can make a little bit of a broad brush. Like, yes, this offense works. And the numbers are there. The
I
numbers
like
are there.
I like the whole Borg mentality, right? Like you're going with the whole Borg. This is just the cube coming in. You're like, oh shoot, we're fucked.
Resistance is futile.
Yes,
Because
it
listen,
is.
by now I'm like, all right, what could I do to stop this University of Miami? Because I like to play devil's advocate when I do these videos, right? I was like, what can I do to stop this? I mean, I remember when it was so easy. I was like, all you got to do is really just play like cover 2 in the backfield, and it's just going to shut down most of the stuff. If you blitz the tight looks, but at this. Because, like I said, as soon as you could have the best play call in the world as a DC, Cam already knows. The whole team knows. And they
both
literally
played
just
cover 2 once last night.
Hey, listen,
How'd it go?
Shannon says a lot of the times after I have no idea what play is going to be run. I call plays and I have no idea what's going to be run because Cam has the ultimate freedom, and it just goes to show you. And remember a couple of years ago, I said I would never let my son, if he was a quarterback, and I would never let him go to a system where he wasn't able to have the freedom to check plays, because how dare you keep him in a bad play? Well, now you see the opposite, the polar opposite of that. You have a guy with such freedom to make calls, and what's he doing? He's making you look great. There's probably 25 calls that Shannon Dawson says on paper, and it's like it never comes out that way, because by the time he comes out there, he's going to change to either run or pass. He changes it. God bless you. God bless America.
All I know is I really hope that that Emery and Judd and Reese are just soaking up all of this, everything out of his brain that they can get out, because you got to keep going next year. So I just hope that you guys are learning everything you can off of this guy, because the way he thinks, one of you has to do it next year. So let's go.
We're praising him, but let's go. One of the most impressive stats of the night. How many sacks did we give up, boys?
He wasn't touched again.
Not touched. Yeah,
he's untouched. This guy. It's wild to me. We came in. The University of Miami came in last night, 3rd in the country in yards per game. Over 600. Put up another 600.
592
against this team with some dudes on that defense. He just told you Orlando's no joke, man. Put up another 600. Where'd he go? He wants to take the night off. It's 8 a.m., bro. Fix your camera.
So, bro, not only 600 yards, Scoop. What do you think the average per play was?
Oh, I don't know that actually.
Average gain per play, bro. You got a guess?
9.8.
I was going to 11,
bro. 9.4.
Yeah. It's wild, bro. It's almost a first down every time they touch the ball. It's they were 7 of 9, I think, on third.
Yes, from third down. Yeah.
I mean, that's just that stuff's kind of crazy, right? I mean, and it just shows, and they weren't all, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2, right? There were a number of them that were behind the sticks. I mean, it was 3rd and 14 or whatever to X on that in the first drive. It's really, it's fun. It's a master class, and watching him, I'm excited to watch student of the game after last night, because last night he really had to, I think, be more in tune, right? I mean, these guys are much better. Look, I will tell you this. I think USF's much better than Florida. And he had to weather that storm yesterday until it was just very easy in the second half, which he did. There's so much to talk about. I was watching with the girls, and Steph goes, man, I feel like I'm watching a flag football game. And Steph knows her shit. And she's like, this is so much fun.
Yeah.
Like, this is the type of stuff you need to see.
Yeah.
And I said, yeah, it's pretty wild. It really is. But the autonomy that he has, the flexibility, the freedom to just, and I'm sitting there last night and I'm thinking to myself, Dawson's actually calling these plays.
Mm-hmm.
There's not a single play that I look at and say, that wasn't his call. And that's pretty cool.
You can
I
just
like
tell
that.
he's in the lab, bro. He's doing it all himself. Like Mario has given him that leash. And listen, this is what you're great at. Go be great.
That drop, the route, do that one for me, bro, if you don't mind.
Jacoby
Was so good.
Mm-hmm.
That concept, the tree on the left on trips, was so good. I was like, I haven't seen that all year out of them.
No, they're throwing a couple different wrinkles on film, especially in the pass game. Yesterday, I want to go back to the offensive line because I want to credit them on something, but then I want to say yesterday's game had a wholesale shift in opinion on me. And I'll get to that. But first with the offensive line, listen, you can tell, and this is coming from Alex Mirabal, because I heard him in the presser and I found it interesting. The first thing he does, and he did it last night for Virginia, because we're on a short week. We're playing this game on Friday. So today's their Monday. So they're back. They're back to work. You couldn't even celebrate 24 hours. It's back to work. You got a business trip back home. So he says the first thing I do is protections. They had 3 protections because they knew Orlando. They knew that he was going to try to bring some pressure. Somebody was going to. So they had 3 separate, protection meetings this week. If you don't think it's important to protect Cam Ward, that is the ultimate investment. They had 3 times this week they went over all their protections. They nailed it. And when you hear Mirabal tell you, listen, we're playing Virginia Tech. I know we're playing USF tonight, but since we're on a short week, I've already done my protection scouting on Virginia Tech. So if you don't think that they have this high priority to go ahead and protect the quarterbacks, when you have 0 sacks, the proof is in the pudding. So for that guy to literally say, hey, he's been a run-first tendency guy right there, given the chance, those guys want to run. But when you have Cam Ward, they're smart enough to realize that's a generational guy for the University of Miami. Protect him at all costs. All right, now, what did this game do to me? I'm very high on Alex Golesh, right? He's my spirit animal. I love him. You know what last night showed me? That you could win in the space race. You can be out in the space race all day long, okay? You can go inside the 20s, but if you can't build it from the inside out the way Mario has, don't bother, right? Because that's the difference when they need to pound you and come in tight and hey, I'm going in this gap. Golesh, that's not in your DNA. That's not, you're an avoidance guy. And I respect you and I respect that style of offense all day. But it changed me because I'm given the choice, I see what the pinnacle is, and it's a hive mind collective between the quarterback and that, with the ability to run you out of the building if you need to, in terms of just line us up and just power. Because all Miami did, they lived in man principles. And I knew that was, if you go back and you watch what Georgia did to Tennessee, they lived in man principle. If I got the guys to beat you, I got the guys to beat you. So now I don't want an offensive system, one in which you do not have the ability to just come into a phone booth and punch you in the mouth. As much as you've heard me over the years, spread it out. There is a tendency when you do that to declare, I'm a little soft. And last night, that was the difference for me. You were gimmicky and soft, USF, stole a fun offense in between the 20s, and Miami punched you in the mouth when I wanted to punch you in the mouth. And you couldn't. So, cheers. That's what that win did.
Yeah, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Can we talk about Jordan Lyle?
Mm-hmm.
I went to the bathroom.
Multiple times these days.
Yeah. Well, I had to take a piss.
I got you.
And the girls are screaming. I come back out and I'm watching him run down the sideline thinking, well, it's nice to see Chris Johnson get in the game.
I love it. I know where you're going.
That was my initial thought because I didn't look. I just saw him pulling away from a dude who had an angle. Like he was standing still.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh. And then he turns and angles and I see 21. And I'm like, I'm sorry. That was Lyle? I backed it up. Bro. I was curious as to why he got such important playing time against Florida. And then you saw him picking up a couple blitzes and you said, oh, that's why. Like, this kid is a monster. Like, he great pass pro and legitimately out there to kick you in the teeth. And then I saw that run and I saw him get to the edge. Jordan Lyle, my apologies. I had no idea you were that kid. No, I had no clue. Longest run in program history, first of all.
How is that even possible,
I don't
bro?
know.
Like,
Well,
we were.
91.
Well, I know, but we were stunned last
or
night
more
in the
is
chat.
really, really hard to
I know
get,
we were
right?
stunned that we never had that edge, or none of these guys ever busted a run from the 5-yard line. Like, we were just stunned that this is the longest one. It was just wow. Like,
and here's the thing: it wasn't a busted coverage. They weren't in cover zero. He didn't hit a seam in the A gap with no one there. He got to the edge, got around two dudes, and flat out dusted that safety. Like, bro, bravo. Good for you. Like, sincere apologies. That was brilliant.
He broke Jack Lausch's record in 1955 and later on matched by Duke Johnson in 2014. That was a 90-yard run. He eclipsed it by one. The record's yours. Go St. Thomas. And I agree with you, Scoop. I didn't think he was that fast. I literally showed the clip in bed, and yes, the missus was like, wow, he's so fast. I go, yeah. I know.
I rewound it 4 times.
And speaking, you thought it was Chris Johnson. Chris Johnson was open now. If that's a better throw, I mean, Cam Ward left some things on the table.
No, Cam Ward absolutely left some stuff.
And as soon as Chris Johnson went out there, I was like, this is a go.
Well, I said it. I'm screaming at the TV. You got single. It's over. I literally he drops back, underthrows it by 10 yards.
It was CJ Spiller versus Sean Spence all over again. Same thing.
I'm going, did I call that? To Steph. She's like, yeah, I know. But I'm like, bro, as soon as he was sent out, I'm like, and the safety didn't come over the top. Like, it's done.
And then later on, they kind of sold that motion again and came underneath with a tight end screen.
Arroyo,
that was the prettiest play call for me.
100%. I was like, that was so good.
I might change my mind when I watch it back, but that live,
that was so legit. That call,
that was dirty.
Yeah.
All right. That was dirty.
Tight end U is back, eh?
Ro and I are watching the same game.
Yeah.
It's funny.
Yeah, tight end U. They're getting involved, right? I mean, Cam's spreading the ball around. That's the equally impressive part. But I think you need to. And that lends credence to the collective, or the hive mind collective that they're doing. Everybody's getting involved. So Arroyo looked tough. Took a nasty hit at first. I'm like, oh no, please not. Be healthy, young man. He came over like, I'm good. And I saw him get down like a catcher, and I'm like, oh man, I know that hurts, man.
He got a helmet to the nutties.
Yes, he did.
That was you went to Dunkin' Donuts and ordered a Hertz, because that's a Hertz donut. That definitely hurts.
Canes defense, 4 sacks for 27 yards, 7 tackles for loss. Francisco Kiko was the tackling leader with 11 total. Mish had 9. Hill had 7. Like, I mean, the defense was all over the place. I'm still also just I don't know why, but every time I see Markel Bell, I'm just freaking stunned by the size of that human being. Holy Jesus, dude.
Best game last night, according to his offensive line coach. He had concerns too. Mirabal said, I didn't want to let him know, but to Scoop's point, I mean, they have some dudes on that defensive side of the ball. So he was like, they know their numbers well, and he was going to get tested, because at that size, what's the concern when you have like the quicker mobility guys that are coming off the side? Just go back and watch what we did to the right tackle at the University of Florida. That's what you did. Guy was bending, and if he puts his paws on you, it's game over, man. That is like, it's not like kitty paws. That's like tiger paws, right? Like those get on you, they're gonna leave a mark. And he left his mark on that field. Had a great game.
For me, guys, play of the game was once again, and this has kind of been the theme, but it was a response drive for me. So USF had that crazy long, like 70-yard drive that ends in a field goal, cuts it to they end up taking the lead 15-14. We go out there with 2.5 minutes left, and bing, bang, boom, Sam Brown 76 yards down the sideline. Let's freaking go.
Yeah, that's what I said. They played like cover 2 once.
Yeah,
and he
I think that was a side adjustment play too. I think that was something that
was it.
They you're going to notice too, and that's what I want to try to highlight this weekend. on student of the game is just so many hand calls from the quarterback, things you don't even know. Like they'll grab their shoe, and that's actually a play. Like beforehand, he like kind of wipes the bottom of his cleat, and then when you see a wide receiver mimic it, you know that's a play. That's not like, oh, we're having turf issues out here. No, not even close. They're sitting there calling plays, and they do it constantly, and it's so hard to adjust and play for. It's the closest semblance to it, and I mentioned it before, was like, you know how Tom Brady and Edelman were always on the same page, and when they needed it, it's there. But it's not just one Edelman; it's multiple Edelmans. It's multiple Edelmans. So
That throw, though, right?
There's a rope, and that was
a rope, and that's how. For those who don't know, you know, it's not this. Hey, let me take it back and let me, you know, chuck it 45 to 55 and hope he gets over top of that safety who's got the angle. No, it's the throw before the safety can get there in that cover too. And it's just ridiculous. He's done it a number of times now. And he's falling backwards. Like he's not even remotely in a good throwing position mechanically. But that's him, and it's special. It's special.
And that's why system fit matters, because a quarterback like that, listen, purist in me, I'm like, oh my goodness, this drop back looks so messy. But when you see the result, it's one of those things. It's like I was a hitter, right? And I was countercultural, I guess. I mean, I look like a straight, they said I look like I was a Dominican hitter. I was just, bat was twirling like crazy. I was nuts. And I had a hitting coach one time come to me, he goes, bro, that is not my cup of tea, but it works, so I'm just going to let you be. Right? I'm just going to, and it's the same thing with Cam. Cam's falling away off his back foot, you know, pitter patters in the pocket a little too long sometimes. But when he needs to rip it, it's on time. It's right where it needs to be, and it's super effective. So you let the kid be. Like, why do I need pristine feet for? Why do I need good quarterback drop to route relationship? That was the thing when we went like 2 years ago. We go to Texas A&M. That was the big thing, right? You're doing this, but your route, instead of being from 14 to 12, was at 15 to 13, and then the thing's a pick. Right now, it's like, who gives a shit? It's gone. It's it works. Who cares? I don't need pristine feet. I just need to play. You feel it? Yeah, good. Just make it work. And it took so much emphasis off the offensive coordinators that way, because I don't need to worry about this anymore. It's phenomenal. It's a phenomenal. Any left plays on the field. You go the Jacoby George interception, which was fluky, right? One was legit his. That was on Jacoby George all day. I almost wish that was like a fumble giveaway.
It should have been a fumble.
He missed the throw before that, though. If you remember, he missed Xavier Restrepo. Now, later on, they would get that wheel switch.
Yeah, they got it again. Yeah.
They got it again because when they saw it, they made the right call and they got it. But he missed that. So that's even though that interception was kind of on Jacoby George, it's going to go to his stat book. He left the play to Chris Johnson. There were some throws as per 404 again, 3 touchdowns. I don't think that's been done in University of Miami history, where over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns in the first four consecutive games.
Yeah,
has not been done. And he still left plays on the field.
Bro, he leads the country in. So I don't know if he now leads in yards. He was second in yards, but he put up 400. So he may have taken over the lead, and he leads the country in touchdowns. Like, this is, enjoy this. This is not normal. We've tried and tried and tried and tried. And, you know, Dawson, he told you when he got here, and I found it, I've said this 10 times on this show, I found it incredibly interesting. I'm a really good offensive coordinator when I have a really good quarterback. And you think it's like a comment about having an excuse for not being very good when your quarterback's not very good. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that. It's kind of like, well, I mean, I was calling the right stuff, but this guy, you know, he can't play very well. Like, what do you want from me? So it's the obvious, but it's the truth. But this is the best thing he's ever had. And it's not even close. So, I mean, I did hear, we said this months ago, I think they're going to throw it a lot more than you think they are with him. And you're seeing it. And at some point, I'd have to think that they're going to try to make you beat them on the ground. And then it'll be tested. That stable of running backs will be tested, but
I don't think you can. I mean, that's the ultimate dagger from him, because how do you take away the pass? You just commit more people with numbers. I mean, there's only certain couple ways to do it. You're not going to blitz. You're going to maybe drop 8 in coverage a lot more.
Yeah.
Good luck, because
But then you got numbers up front. I mean,
then you got numbers up front, and then he's just going to sit there all day and just point, and he's calm. And it almost plays to his inner demon, right? It's a great demon for the other team, because he's just so calm. I mean, it's the calmness demon that he has. All right, you don't want to rush. I immediately sense it. And he's just going to sit there, point, casually make a play, because he's still really damn good. You haven't really seen – he had that flip toast, you're right, when he did that toss out there. He had that crazy play against University of Florida when he rolled out. But that's what he was known for. That's what he was known for at Washington State. You don't see it as much because the offensive line is doing a much better job protecting him, right? He doesn't have that crazy element to his game. But if you want to step back in coverage, if you want to pick that poison, we'll run right over you. We'll run right over you. And when he does want to throw, he's going to have all the time in the world, and he's still going to pick you apart because you can't cover forever.
I'd like to know how many times has he been sacked this year?
I'll look that up as that's going on.
Because
absolutely, yeah.
I've watched 4 games now.
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember one. I do not remember him being sacked. So when he was at Wazoo, his last year, he was sacked. I think it was the second most in the country. Like, he ran for his life. He's been sacked 3 times.
3 times.
There's been 3 times, but I don't know if it's...
We've had 3 sacks. I don't know if it was all him.
3 sacks in 4 games.
I want to know how many times he's been sacked.
It was 1 in Florida and 2 in Florida A&M. No sacks since Florida A&M.
He was sacked.
Florida A&M.
Mm-hmm. Florida A&M sacked him, though?
They had 2 sacks. I don't know.
We don't know.
Yeah.
I got to know this.
Yeah.
We got to figure this out. Somebody figure this out, because
I got you.
And just for the record, through 4 games, we have 16.
Yeah. Okay. 4 game. I mean, and the crazy part is Cam's leading the country. I'm speculative scoop here. Cam's leading the country in yards and touchdowns. And last night was the first time that he's played in the 4th. I think he played in the 4th against Florida, but it wasn't for long. So he's done.
By the way, he's been sacked twice.
All right, twice.
Once against Florida, once against FAMU.
Okay.
Thank you. But that's not. He hasn't played 16 quarters. He's played like 13 quarters. They've pulled him in every game, which is another testament, right? He hasn't had to give you that game-winning drive. We haven't seen that part of it, but he's been sacked twice in 4 games. And honestly, one of them, maybe he just ran out of bounds. Like, it was one of these. He's just not being touched. He's not being rushed. He's not being pressured. There's no hands in his face. So you get to see how good he is. What was the? I want to see how good he is in the pocket, right? Because we didn't know.
Question answered.
We didn't know, and now you get to see it. Like, he's a surgeon, truly. Like, that throw to Sam Brown is surgical.
And any quarterback considering joining the University of Miami, I know that transfer portal market, especially if you're a good quarterback, it's going to look appealing if you look down to the Gables. Because one thing that Mario couldn't promise you in the past was something of this style of offense. It's so grandiose. Look at the numbers and the quarterback, and there's a good potential. I mean, Cam's playing himself right into a first-round pick, right? Great decision. He got a very nice NIL from the University of Miami, put money in his pocket, comes out, but his greatest value that he was able to provide is his offensive line. Listen, recruits, I'm telling you, quarterbacks, guys who are considering making that Cam Ward move, one thing Mario can promise you, look at how well he can protect you, right? You want, as a dad to one of these quarterbacks, you want to feel protected, send him to Mario. Because look at what he's doing and look at how he can protect, because he can provide that offensive line.
It'll never not be that way.
Yeah. Again, and listen, we didn't mention him, and I feel like we mentioned Matt Lee a lot more, but Carpenter, he's damn good, man. He's damn good. You have no drop-off. I really liked Matt Lee. I liked the protection calls. I thought he was a phenomenal player. And then they turn around and they nailed that too. We praise the quarterback. But that center, He's making the line calls now. That's the guy that goes out there, looks, surveys the call, and they're the ones that are making the line call to everybody else. That has to be equally the smartest guy on the field, because if he's not smart, the quarterback can't do his job. So great job, man. Great job. Kudos. Sloppy, though. One thing we do got to address the penalties again.
11 for 100 and something. Like,
Yeah.
but
was,
yeah, some of them self-inflicted, some of them on the defense. I mean, that's part of what you get going against that offense, right? The one with the dude didn't get off the field in time.
Mhm.
Like he couldn't have moved any faster. He's worn the bleep out. Like
there was the Irish. You heard the Irish again, right?
There it is.
It was hard to bleep out.
I mean,
go ahead.
They wear you into submission, so to speak, that offense and the tempo and the fact that you don't know when you can substitute. They snuck a guy out there like, oh, I can substitute. No, you can't. Like it's a free for all. So you're going to get some of that stuff. I get it. But there were a lot of unforced errors.
11 for 113, 11 for 113. I think they did you a really, really good favor last night. They played you really tight for a half. So they gave you that experience in a blowout. But that first half, you got to get tested. And USF tested you, but there's things you can clean up as well. So USF, you did us a favor. Playing us close in the first half is going to give us a great value for down the road when we do play something close. So thank you for that. But a lot of things to clean up.
And you won't see that type of tempo.
No, yeah, you won't
very
see that
often.
again.
Like that's not easily replicated. You can't,
Right.
And we had a text about that last night. You can't mimic that with the scout team, right? These guys do this every day in, day out. And this is until you're in it, you don't know what it's like. And it took them a half to figure it out, but they figured it out.
Speaking of portal additions, if he wants to, Mr. Grammatica can come over here anytime he wants to. Oh my goodness, that little seeing that name on the back of a jersey and then drilling it from 58.
And they don't let him kick.
Bro.
They don't let him kick.
They don't hold
time.
They only
And
let
then
him
the
kick
guy
over
misses.
50. Yeah.
Only outside
What?
50, which is the dumbest thing I've ever seen in my entire life. So his
Which
one is he?
I'm
I
only
don't
out there.
know.
He's got
I
the
don't know who
yips.
he's a son of,
Anything
yeah.
from a Martin Grammatica.
No, I don't know. I mean, Bill Grammatica I think Bill Grammatica was the one who
thought
played
they
at
said
USF.
last night.
Martin did not.
Right.
But I think it's Martin's son.
Okay. So one of the Grammaticas played at Kansas State.
Right.
But the other one played. There was another one too.
There was a third one.
There was a third one. And
Yeah.
the two other ones played at USF. They were there. One of them was the kicker in the inaugural season.
He's
1997.
Martin Grammatica's son.
Okay.
Okay.
And Martin played for Kansas State, right?
And just like
And he played for Tampa, right?
And just like his papa, he was
Yes.
Automatica.
Kansas
Yeah.
State and the
Damn.
Bucks.
He's
Yeah.
the one that hurt himself
Damn.
celebrating, right?
Yes.
Martin did?
Yes.
Was it
He
Martin?
sure
I think it
did.
was Martin.
He
Yeah,
jumped
up.
Yeah.
Yep.
He jumped up like
blood
this.
his knee jumping up and down.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I saw that one,
awesome.
one jump up, I was like, no.
Don't do that. Don't do
It's
that.
hereditary. You got bad knees, son.
But that's fun. That's fun to see that.
You feel
Again,
old.
there.
You feel old.
Just ancient, actually.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't
Like, oh,
understand how this
Jesus.
happens.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Grammaticas and USF are definitely hand in hand.
Our kicker's damn good too. So
Yeah, he
we don't
is.
have kick.
Absolutely.
You know, we
I
also
like-
have like the top rated kicker in the country
Yes.
coming in, or he's here now.
Yeah, is that the guy who kicked last week?
I think so.
Yeah.
I
And drilled
don't
it,
know
yeah.
these things. Yeah.
So we're all set. We're all set. All right, boys. So there you go. So now out of conference is done. It is time now for the first time in a long time to get this ACC monkey off our back. So we'll kick that the ACC season off on Friday night against Vatex. We'll have a whole preview show for that. Short week.
They lost again.
Out to Cal. Yeah, I believe they did. And Cal lost to at Florida State, just barely. Congratulations, Florida State. You needed it wasn't until 54 seconds left in the fourth quarter that you beat Cal Berkeley.
And he threw a pick. We picked that.
Right,
We
right,
picked that.
yes,
He threw a
yes.
pick. We got
Let's do our underdog real quick.
Oh yeah. Well, how we do? we
All right,
win
so
money?
we did. We did. We didn't win them both. We got
Okay.
one. You went. Bet one was $25. Cam Ward higher than 2.5 passing touchdowns.
Got it.
Brown higher than half of one rushing touchdown. It was
Didn't get it.
0.5. He hit it. No, he got
Oh,
it.
he did.
Got
He
one
got it,
rushing
yes.
touchdown.
Yeah.
So you won. So on a $25 bet, we made $65 on
Yes.
Underdog Fantasy. Now, the one we missed on, DJ, higher than 0.5 interceptions. He had one.
Got it.
You hit it. And then it was
There's only one player on
37
campus we
yards.
could bet on.
it was Nazai Hunter.
Yeah.
Higher than 39.5 receiving yards.
Yeah,
He had
37.
39.
No, we got hooked.
Missed
We
it
got
by
the
a
hook.
hook.
We got
Missed it by a hook.
Dude, we would have.
So we lost our 25 on that one. But by the way, underdogfantasy.com, if you use the promo code ORANGE, you get a free cash pick on your first cash pick and up to $1,000 in bonus cash. So
All right. So how much do we
use
have in the
Orange.
kitty now?
Yeah, what's the kitty
We
now?
started
So
with 150.
We're at 165 and 75
All right.
cents.
Hey,
All right.
We're up
then.
we're up
Hey,
15.75.
up 15.75. It's
There
a
we
positive
go.
week.
So we'll do
I don't
those
think
every
we
week.
did very well on the pick'ems this week. There was a lot going on out
If
there.
you want to do the pick'ems, we can do pick'ems real quick. No, it was not a good week. It's not a good. Let's just leave it there. It's not a good week.
All right, not a
no,
good week. Okay.
Toast went 4-3. Scoop went 1-6.
Yeah, it was bad.
That was a tough week. And
Yeah.
Roe went 2-5.
I told you it was going to happen. I didn't like
Roe
any of those
just
things.
missed on the UM pick because he didn't pick the bull. He picked the Bulls to cover.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Yeah.
So
Well,
I only won the Canes game.
yeah, you did. You only won the Canes game. You lost Georgia Tech,
Lost
USC,
everything
OK
else.
State, Tennessee. Oh God.
Oof.
Yeah, it was bad.
I won
Nice. All
Florida.
right,
I
boys.
think
So
that was the
all,
only
so
other
all
game.
the home dogs were dog shit,
Were
basically.
dogs.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
Deserved.
Ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oklahoma put up no fight, man. They just got destroyed.
The
No,
craziest.
Nico's so good.
If I would have said this, like point spread or point total at the end, if I would have told you that North Carolina, right, would put up 50 points, okay, 50 points,
50.
and still lose by 20 to a G5 school, you would have thought I was crazy because that
Bro,
means
Mac
they lost
Brown,
Yeah.
like, quit.
70 to 50.
You see the story?
No, he quit.
Yeah, like after the game, he said, "I'm done. This is I'm not coming back." We just got doused by the Dukes. James Madison. He put up said they had 50 in the first half.
Hey, somebody else is undefeated in the ACC too. Do you know who's undefeated? I mean, Louisville's obviously
Louisville.
undefeated. There's
Mhm.
another team that's undefeated.
BC?
In the ACC. Mm-mm.
Duke.
Duke.
Oh, God.
Duke is 4-0.
Yeah.
Imagine that. Imagine they both come into town. Manny versus Mario and an undefeated.
Duke,
Oh, my God.
Duke beat Middle Tennessee yesterday.
Yes,
Yeah.
they did. Yeah.
That's something Mario
convincingly.
couldn't do.
And
Bro, and
convincing.
FAU got rolled by UConn.
Yes.
UConn's
I saw that
not
score, too.
bad. UConn's
Apparently
not the worst
not.
team in the country anymore.
No, they're not. Yeah.
UConn's trying to
Mississippi
pitch.
State might be that team.
Oh,
Mississippi
more
State is
Billy
Cowboys.
just
Knapp's got to win.
disgusting. They're so bad.
He's got inner confidence, Billy. Billy's going to pull off a run here now. He's
I
got-
think
yeah.
he might pick up a few dubs. Yeah. All right.
No, he's not.
Just joking.
No, he's
The
not.
beef of their schedule starts now. They're screwed.
Yeah, who they got next?
Nah,
It's
I'm
insane.
I'm curious. IP's doing this prostate power poll, so I want to see what the IP prostate power poll is going to have. I mean, after we kind of just undressed USF, so
Yeah.
Well,
we'll see what changed.
Florida's got UCF.
ooh,
Oh,
nice.
there's a game. Oh, there's a game.
that's
Then-
exciting.
Then
Where's
on-
that
Where's
out?
that game at?
It's in Florida, and then it's
All
in the
right.
swamp, and then on the 12th they go to Tennessee.
Yeah.
Ooh, they'll lose
That's
by
gonna be-
40.
that's gonna
What's
be a
that line? What's that
bloodletting.
line?
Oh, I don't even know.
19. That's 19. They'll lose by 40.
We have
Nico is gonna. Oh my goodness.
we have 4 Florida teams that we have to play. We played 3 out of 4. We don't
Yes.
3 out of 4. We might be playing the worst one last.
Mm.
Oh, they're or off the offense is
They
putrid.
have no
right?
offense, dude.
Their
Yeah.
offense
14
is,
points. 14
They've
points. at home.
scored like 60 points in 4 games.
They're averaging 15 a game.
See?
IP gave us that last week.
Yeah.
He's
Insane.
a quarterback whisperer. He's a
Yeah.
quarterback whisperer.
Last time was Tulane with the SEC.
So what you're telling me is there's 2 things. You're either saying that you feel bad for DJ because he was the portal kid and you brought him in to excel and you don't want to bench him, or he's the best of that room and that's scary.
Listen, man, I don't know which one of you guys tweeted it out, but Nick Saban had a brutal reality check.
Yeah, he did.
And and especially he knows about the FSU portal because half those portal guys were from Alabama that Norvell got this year. And Saban came flat out and said it. There's a reason these kids are in the portal. Look at Alabama right now,
He's
bro.
throwing his own players
under the bus. He's like, there's a reason why these 7 guys went into the portal. Look at Alabama right now. They're having no issues. So it's like, you got to make sure that these guys have the right culture. You can't just go in, and you're seeing that, man. And that's an issue, because if now at like 1 and 3, you can easily lose that locker room because these guys are hired mercenaries. If they know there's nothing left to play for, like they're not, they haven't been bleeding for you for the last 3-4 years.
You want to know what the stark polar contrast was between the University of Miami and Florida State in terms of what we're looking at, what they did last year, what we're about to do this year? Jordan Lyle. Okay. Jordan Lyle, in non-meaningful time at the end of the game, has an opportunity to go in, breaks the school record for a 91-yard and rush touchdown. And I swear to you, that's when I was like, thank goodness we can recruit so much better than them. Because the stable, in terms of a lot, now nailing the quarterback situation next year is going to, if somebody steps up and emerges, or do we got to go back to the portal? That's going to be the question of questions at the end of the year. But the rest of the stable, we're not going to have what Florida State had. Their defensive line cannot get after it. They try to do it in the portal. We have the ability to recruit too. So when we need to plug and play some of these impact pivotal guys, so we don't have that Florida State drop off. Same thing what Nick Saban was talking about too. Listen, he was good in the portal, but what did he do? What was his bread and butter? His recruiting. I think recruiting gives you the lifeline and in the blood to just ride off into the sunset and have a more continual success. Florida State's mercenary tactics finally bit them in the ass.
Florida State's next 4.
Talk to me, Goose.
SMU,
Not
Clemson, Duke, Miami.
I want to see that. I want to see that Duke game.
Damn.
Dude, Clemson's on a mission right now.
Yeah, they've turned it around
I'm just
ever
saying,
since that
Clemson's
Georgia
on a
loss.
mission right now. Yeah, they're on a mission right now to prove something. All right, we got to wrap this up. I want to get this thing dropped well before NFL. Dolphins going to be in Seattle, so get ready for that one. Listen, man, we're 4-0. We're rolling, boys and girls. In this household, it matters. Scoop, it matters.
That's
in this
true.
household.
You guys
Does
throwing
matter.
stuff at each other.
We are a house divided here.
It's a big week for you.
Big week. So,
Here comes
so we got that
Jezebel.
going on.
Yeah, just hide the tequila.
So we'll see you guys. Normal drop this week, Wednesday, Thursday. As always, go Canes.
Yo! Change.